Welcome back to Worldview with Dennis Campbell. Now, continuing our look back at 1,000 Days in Captivity for the American Marine Private Bradley Manning, our next guest is someone who spent quite some time working his way inside the head of Mr. Manning. Tim Price is an Olivier-nominated writer. The former journalist from the South Wales Valleys was educated at Cardiff University, where he studied philosophy and English literature. As well as writing for the stage and television, Tim runs a writing company with friends called Dirty Protest. We're interested in learning more about a play he wrote and produced here in South Wales. It's called The Radicalisation of Bradley Manning, and it was first performed at the Haverfordwest Wales school that Manning actually attended, and indeed was seen live by Manning's mother. Tim Price, welcome to Worldview.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. First of all, I have to say I'm a huge fan of this work. I got an email moments before the webcast actually started and was blown away by the depth of the writing and the understanding of the situation, as well as all of the performances. Can you take a moment and tell our audience how you came up with the idea to capture this man's incarceration in this way and what it meant to you personally?
Well, I'd been following the WikiLeaks story for a while, and I was under commission to National Theatre Wales to write a different play, and then 2 or 3 weeks before we were about to announce the other play's production, I read about Bradley, and I read that his mother was Welsh and he'd spent time living in Wales, and this was a story that I thought touched on kind of all the key issues that were going on at the time about kind of globalization, secrecy, the war on terror, and to have a kind of Welsh link. I mean, Welsh people don't really kind of reach out into kind of global issues very often. No. So to have a Welsh boy who'd been to a Welsh school like I had, learned Welsh, played rugby, done all the things that I had done, because Bradley lived in Wales for 4.5 years during his kind of crucial teenage years. You know, it was a brilliant opportunity to kind of write a Welsh story, but which was also a global story. So I went to the National Theatre Wales and told them that I thought we were doing the wrong play, and rather courageously of them, they kind of pulled the other play and announced the radicalisation of Bradley Manning when all we had was a title. We didn't have a story. We didn't know anything. We didn't know what we were going to do. So I had a very scary kind of 9 months where I then had to go and research everything I could about Bradley. And you know, it was a brilliant journey. I kind of got to meet people that went to school with Bradley, met his mum, met his family. It's a fantastic story, really.
It really is, and it was very well produced. Now, you know, there's some issues that come up in here, and I have to, as a journalist, say that there are some who would say that he's getting what he deserves for having been the person who leaked documents to WikiLeaks, while others lionize him as a hero for exposing the fraud of the Iraq War. Indeed, some say war crimes, and this whole effort at insurgency and how it has targeted so many innocent people. Why do you think there's so much gray area here? Why is he such a polarizing figure?
The grey area comes from the fact that Bradley released information that he hadn't read. So, you know, when you get industrial scale classification, which is what the US government is doing now, it's classifying millions of documents. So it doesn't need to. They could be open to the public to read. When you get industrial scale secrecy, the natural flip side is you get industrial scale leaking, and that's what Bradley did, really. They were there was so much in the Bradley leak that he didn't know. You know, people have an issue with that, but we're still now discovering things in those leaks that are alarming, such as the kind of BP Deepwater blowout. Well, BP here had another identical blowout in the Caspian Sea that the US government helped cover up, which we would never have known about had Bradley not leaked the diplomatic cables. So yeah, I can see both sides. Another issue people have with Bradley is the risk that he might have put other soldiers at. But Bradley's access level was at secret level, not top secret. The information he leaked probably didn't include that much kind of dangerous information on kind of locations and key signs and things. And then, you know, the other argument people say is that it's gonna increase insurgents' desire to attack American troops. Well, you know, the information being leaked was about them. You know, these kind of war crimes and atrocities were happening to these people already. They know everything that the Americans have been doing and the coalition forces have been doing. So, you know, there's lots of arguments, really, but it depends on your political viewpoint, really, I think. You know.
Absolutely, and you know, I found the footage from the helicopter shooting in Iraq to be, you know, some of the most chilling footage I've seen. I remember when that first was released by Julian Assange from WikiLeaks. Yeah. One of the themes that your play really focused on was this aspect of bullying and how he was bullied throughout his school career, and then in some respects the bullying continued throughout his Marine Corps career. Now, you've probably more than anybody through your research and preparation in 9 months for this play been more inside the head of Bradley Manning than anybody else. How much of the actions were designed to combat those who abused him, and how much of what is happening today still a form of bullying that's going on?
Sorry, you cut out that. I didn't catch the last end of that.
Oh, I apologize. I mean, how much of what is he facing today in terms of the abuse, being in prison for 1,000 days?
Right.
You know, still a form of bullying from him. I mean, he had bullying when he went through basic training, and he had bullying throughout his career in the Marine Corps. How much of what's happening today is still a form of bullying?
Yeah, well, you know, Bradley's story is a kind of story of somebody kind of permanently trying to find the place where he fits in, and it seems wherever Bradley has gone to try and fit in, those institutions or those kind of groupings, be it family, friends, work situations, they all kind of seem to have led to kind of Bradley being kind of punished or neglected or abused. And then, you know, there's something almost kind of poetic by somebody whose life seems to have been conducted as if he's always been kind of imprisoned by something. Spent 1,000 days in jail in a kind of Kafkaesque nightmare, waiting for the leaders of the free world to follow due process.
Well, you know, it's a story that I'm sure will continue to follow, and it's truly been a pleasure, Tim, having you on Worldview, and I wish you best of luck in your future works.
Thanks a lot, Dennis, and thanks for your interest.
Well, Tim is currently very busy, folks, working on a film about Bradley Manning, a play about the Occupy movement for the National Theatre, and a play about the breakup of the Union for the Travis Theatre in Scotland. We'll certainly be watching for all of these, and thanks for joining us on Worldview.
Great. Thanks a lot, Dennis. Cheers.
Coming up on the program next, we'll interview the American journalist and author Janet Heimlich on her riveting book about child religious maltreatment. It's more than the sex abuse scandals we read about in the papers. That's what's next on Worldview. Stay right here.